Imagine, Siva wants to go home to Bangka Belitung from Lampung, but there are so many route options. Flying is expensive, taking a ship is expensive, and combining land and sea is complicated, and all the cost, time, and risks involved vary. Well, instead of just searching of a route based on intuition, how about we find the most optimal route logically? In this video, we'll discuss a case study of traveling to Bangka Belitung using dynamic programming methods to determine the best route with efficient and structured calculation. Let's have Siva calculate the optimal route.
Friends, let's take a look at this image. This is a multi-stage graph that represents all possible travel routes from Bandar Lampung to Belitung. Each box represents a city we can pass through, and each blue arrow shows a possible direction of travel. We start at stage 1, which is the starting point of the journey, Bandar Lampung. From here, Siva can choose 3 different directions, Liwa, Batu Raja, or Bakauheni. The distance from Bandar Lampung to Liwa is 225 kilometers, to Batu Raja is 290 kilometers, and to Bakauheni 89 kilometers. Next, we move to stage 2. At this stage, Liwa, Batu Raja, and Bakauheni are connected to 3 major cities in the next stage, Tanjung Api-Api, Palembang, and Serang. From Liwa to Tanjung Api-Api, the distance is 418 kilometers, to Palembang 345 kilometers, and to Serang 384 kilometers. From Batu Raja to Tanjung Api-Api, the distance is 269 kilometers, to Palembang 195 kilometers, and to Serang 413 kilometers. Meanwhile, from Bakauheni to Tanjung Api-Api, the distance is 457 kilometers, to Palembang 384 kilometers, and to Serang 67.5 kilometers. This is where the number of possible routes combination really starts to increase. Then, we enter stage 3, which includes the major transit cities, Tanjung Api-Api, Palembang, and Serang. From here, the routes branch again toward Mentok, Pangkal Pinang, and Jakarta in stage 4. From Tanjung Api-Api to Mentok, the distance is 57.8 kilometers, to Pangkal Pinang 153.5 kilometers, and to Jakarta 601.4 kilometers. From Palembang to Mentok, the distance is 136 kilometers, to Pangkal Pinang 272 kilometers, and to Jakarta 528 kilometers. From Serang to Mentok, the distance is 581 kilometers, to Pangkal Pinang 716 kilometers, and to Jakarta 86.5 kilometers. Finally, at stage 4, all routes lead to one final destination at stage 5, Belitung. From Mentok to Belitung, the distance is 188 kilometers, from Pangkal Pinang to Belitung 324 kilometers, and from Jakarta to Belitung 477 kilometers. So, this graph helps us understand how each decision at one stage affects the choices available in the next stage. Using these distance values, we can calculate the total distance for every possible route. With this multi-stage structure, we can apply dynamic programming to find the best route for Siva, making her journey to Belitung faster, more cost-effective, and more efficient. Pretty cool, right? Out of all these possible routes, we'll find out which one is the most optimal. Let's move on the calculation part.
Okay, now we are move on to the calculation stage. In this part, I will explain how the minimum distance is calculated step by step. The process starts from the stage that is close to the destination city, and then
move backward to the previous stage. This approach is important because this is where dynamic programming truly works. The result from one stage is stored and then used to determine the most optional decision in the next stage. Okay, now we move on to stage 4, which is the stage close to the final destination, Belitung. At this stage, all cities are directly connected to Belitung, so the minimum distance from each city can be determined without comparing multiple routes. For City 8, Mentok, the direct distance to Belitung is 118 km. Therefore, the minimum value is stored as the optimal result for the city. For City 9, Pangkal Pinang, the direct distance to Belitung is 329 km. So, the minimum distance from the city to Belitung is fixed at the value. And for City 10, Jakarta, the direct distance to Belitung is 477 km. Which complete and calculation for stage 4. These results are saved and will be used in the next step of dynamic programming process. Now, we continue to stage 3. At this stage, the city do not connect directly to Belitung, so the total distance must be calculated by adding the distance to a stage 4 and the minimum distance from that city to Belitung. For City 5, Tanjung Api-Api, there are 3 possible routes. If the road goes through Mentok, the total distance becomes 175.8 km. If it goes through Pangkal Pinang, the total distance becomes 482.5 km. And if it goes through Jakarta, the total distance reaches 178.4 km. Among the options, smallest value is 155.8 km. So, the optimal route from City 5 is through Mentok. Next, for City 6, Palembang, the same method is applied. Going through Mentok results at the total distance of 254 km. Through Pangkal Pinang, the total distance is 596 km. And through Jakarta, the total distance is 975 km. The minimum distance option is 255 km, which means the best route from Palembang to Belitung is via Mentok. Finally, for City 7, Serang, if the road goes through Mentok, the total distance is 699 km. If it goes through Pangkal Pinang, the total distance is 1040 km. However, if it goes through Jakarta, the total distance becomes 563.5 km. Means 563.5 km is the smallest value. The optimal route from Serang to Belitung is through Jakarta.
Okay, now we start from stage 2, which are cities that still have several route options to Bangka Belitung. At this stage, we use the result from the stage 3 as a reference because the distance from the destination city is already known. First, for the city of the Liwa, there are 3 options for the continuation route, via Tanjung Api-Api, via Palembang, and via Serang. Each city distance is added to the continuation distance to Belitung. From the calculation result, the smallest distance is 593.8 km, which is via Tanjung Api-Api. Next is Batu Raja city. The method is the same. All the options are summed with the distance of the next stage. The small result is 444.8 kilometers. And again, the best route is via Tanjung Api-Api. Next is Bakauheni city. Here there are 3 options as well, and after calculation, the minimum distance is 631 kilometers, which is via Serang city. After stage 2 is complete, we process the stage 1. In this stage, there is only one starting city, which is Bandar Lampung. Bandar Lampung has the 3 route options to the cities in the stage 2, and each distance is added to the previous result. From all calculation, the short distance is 720 kilometers. Next, we will calculate the optimal route determination. In this section, we simply retrace these decisions marked with a star. First, Stage 1, which is Bandar Lampung has a 3 city option for the next destinations. After adding the result from the previous stage, the shortest distance is 720 kilometers, which is from City 1 to City 4, namely Bakauheni. Proceed to Stage 2. Since we are in City 4, we review the best options from the city. We calculation results show a minimum distance of 631 km, specifically from City 4 to City 7, Serang. Enter Stage 3 from City 7. There are several alternative routes. After comparison, the shortest distance is 563.5 km, which is to City 10, Jakarta. Finally, Stage 4. From City 10, the route goes directly to Belitung with a distance of 577 km without needing additional calculations. So, the final route obtained is Bandar Lampung, Bakauheni, Serang, Jakarta, and Belitung, with a total distance of at least 720 kilometers. Using dynamic programming will help us choose the most worthwhile route without complications and not randomly. Yay! Thank you for helping Siva calculate her trip to Bangka Belitung. Now, Siva is no longer confused about which route to take. Thank you for watching.